Hi everyone, welcome to They Play Games, a podcast for non-gender conforming people wanting to get into the game industry, in the game industry, or wanting to know more about games. Today I'm welcoming Winona Sharpe, whose pronouns are they, she, and we're going to talk about how they got into games. So do you want to say hi?
Hi, thank you very much for inviting me. I'm very excited to talk to you.
Yeah, this is actually the second time we've met because we met during Limit Break, which is how I got into games, and I'm really excited to do this conversation with you again.
Yeah.
So obviously, how did you get into games?
I got into it sort of not accidentally, but through different networking sort of experiences. I kind of stumbled across something on Twitter, just sort of joined, even though I wasn't in the game industry at the time, because it was a space for women who, you know, when I was going to these other events, you could count the number of non males like on one hand,
Yeah,
if that. Like, so the fact that there was like a specific networking event for just women in games in the Northeast, I was like, that's amazing. Let me go check this out. And one thing led to another. I went to brunch, and then I applied to jobs, and here we are, almost 3 years later. So
amazing. I think that's how I was. I was working in a school, and I was like, I really like games, but like when you don't think about it because you're always taught in your life like it's just like something you do for fun, isn't it?
yeah.
And I remember seeing on Twitter Limit Break pop up, and I was like, what is this? And I was like, I'm just gonna apply. And then I got in, and I was like, oh my god, this is fantastic. And it just like spun out through there, and I was like, this is amazing. Like, this is absolutely everything I wanted.
Yeah.
So it was just a fantastic world that people see, especially like when you look into it, like everyone that you see in games, like you always see like those male dominated gaming worlds, like the guys in like the plaid t-shirts and
I
like
almost wore my plaid shirt today.
it's really funny because I did too. I was gonna wear a plaid skirt and I was like, no one can see the skirt. I was like the plaid t-shirts, the like gamer shirts, like hoodies. I mean, I always wear a hoodie to be fair, so
Yeah.
that makes no difference. But like everyone's got those like ideal gamer views, and I'm like, yeah, but those don't have to be male dominated. Like
Mm-hmm.
they're so vast, but the fact that there's so non-males that are shown about for other people to get inspiration from, like, is important. I think that
Mm-hmm.
because obviously I didn't have that many, and I don't think you did you? Like, if you couldn't count any on your hand.
I know, like it took a while. It took a lot of searching, like, and this was all before COVID. So I got really lucky in that, I was able to go and explore um, those networking groups. Like, I had a great time at the other ones. Like, don't get me wrong, I love free beer and pizza any day of the week,
Yeah,
literally. Like, um, and it was always really cool, and you learn stuff and you make connections. But it just always felt like I was like the other in the room, like,
yeah,
and I'd get quite uncomfortable at like all the attention like coming my way. It's like, because I was quite new into the sort of tech world in general. Like, I just finished up like a 6-month training course in tech, because I knew that my current job at the time was going to be ending. I was going to be made redundant, like the company was
yeah,
winding down. So I was like, I need to plan for my future.
yeah,
This mortgage ain't going to pay itself. So um, it was nice, like, to get out, meet people, learn about what jobs are around, and explore an entirely new sort of career path. And at no point was I like, oh, I'm I want to work in games. I think, that's the career for me. I can totally see myself working in games. Like, that never crossed my mind until I went to, it was a Christmas party between Women Making Games and Lit Northeast, I believe. So it was like a group for women and a group for LGBT
Yeah.
people in technology. And it was really special. Like I got chatting to somebody I now work with, because I had gone down the project management learning path
Yeah.
during my training, because that was something, I could hack it a little bit with the
Yeah.
Python coding, but like, data analysis, no. It was I couldn't grasp that. So the project management stuff was definitely way more up my alley. um I could understand that. I could make that work. Like to this day, I love my Trello, I love my Notions, like all those little tools. Like
Yeah.
my phone is full of them, and I use them for everything from like the house move to like buying groceries and stuff. But yeah, so I got chatting to somebody at the party, and like was and then there was obviously karaoke, because what's a Christmas party without karaoke?
Right.
um but yeah, I just had such a fun time. And so when there was another event coming up, um it was great to just be like sat at a brunch table with like 20 or something people, and almost half of them all came from one company, and they were all saying the best things about it. So that's really good. And they were all like
Yeah.
women. So I was like, this is a really, really good sign, because this is also around the time that all of the news about like sexual harassment in video game companies and things was just starting to become like really, really public. So I was kind of like, oh my goodness, like, I need to be careful, like who I'm applying to and like what I'm getting myself into. Um, but the fact that there was about, I don't know, 5-10 people from one company all saying really good things about it, and they all did different things in the business as well, that it really like opened my eyes to like I could see myself working with all these lovely people. And
Yeah.
it was really nice, and they were very encouraging too. And I'm so glad that they were, because I wouldn't have the life I have right now if I hadn't had those conversations.
That's so amazing. And like networking, I know, well, I was going to say, I know in person networking isn't as available now, but it's growing. Like,
It is.
and it is like now that COVID is going down, well, now that now that COVID is sort of reducing and like people are able to like go out a bit more, and like people are opening up spaces, like these in-person events are happening.
Mhm.
And that's where networking, but online networking is still a thing. And
Yeah.
um that's how a lot of my networking is done, because I prefer it.
Yeah.
But and that's how I think a lot of people are missing out, because I think they think that they don't have a chance, because they think, oh, I'm not able to talk to people because I'm not in this field. And I'm like, no, honestly, sign up to that free event, put your name down, make a LinkedIn,
Hmm.
and connect with people. Just go to that event, and you have no idea how many people, if they're at that event, most likely people are there to give their wisdom.
Yeah.
Like, so many people are so lovely. I cannot think of a person who I would not want to not introduce to someone else, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
Because I've met so many fantastic people through networking and going to events, and that's online events. And it's made me want to go to more in public events, because I know they'll be there. Although I'm like anxious, I'm
I
like
know.
on the sidelines, like, I know you, I really like you, I hype you up in socials, I love you. But yeah, I think that's where a lot of people, like, if you're thinking of switching careers, like, that is one thing, because most most people who will support you will be there for you, and they're just there, and they'll be there ready to mentor you, and like have their blah, 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 have their arms open for you,
Hmm.
ready. um okay, before because I can go on about that for ages. What things did you look for when you were job hunting?
So to start, I was kind of just filling out any application I could. Like anything that said junior or entry level, like anything, I was throwing, everything out into the world. Because like I said, I had nothing. So it was kind of a blessing in disguise when a lot of those rejections started turning up, like now knowing what I know now about different companies and things. So which at the time, like, I didn't have the connections and
Yeah.
sort of networks to learn about. So that's where word of mouth is like really, really crucial. But what was I looking for? Just anything that looked like my existing skills, like my background might fit, or I could maybe like use that as a jumping off point. Of course, there's going to be so many things that I didn't know that I didn't have experience with platform stores or like most things like on the job descriptions, but I
Yeah.
didn't let that stop me. I was just putting my name out there and seeing what stuck. And I feel like that's something that can be so limiting if you're just looking at what you actually match up to. You can sort of self-select yourself out of it and not give yourself that chance. And yeah, just it was kind of a scattershot approach, but in the end it worked.
Yeah. I remember I was applying when I was applying. I needed remote, so I knew I didn't
Yeah.
want anywhere that wanted me to go like in person,
Mm-hmm.
because I was still dealing with like a lot of anxiety.
Yeah.
Um, so like um, a remote job worked perfect for me. Um, so I purposely looked for remote jobs. And I also looked through people's socials to see how diverse they were.
Mm,
That's what I also looked at, which
yeah.
I don't think I should have been that picky. Well, I could, yeah, I was
No,
actually that
I
picky.
don't. I don't think that's being picky. That's like in a way, kind of protecting yourself from a place
Yeah,
that you wouldn't feel comfortable. I think.
yeah. Because yeah, I think especially, I mean, I am 100% blessed where I work now,
Mm-hmm.
and I love it. But I would like look on people's socials. I would like look how like people would write and like see like the language they would use, and see if
Mm-hmm.
it's like when like they'll put on their job description they're inclusive, but then like they'll use like um ableist language in their tweets, or like gendered language, and I'd be like, are you
Yeah.
inclusive then? And like, are you? So like I'd be like, and like obviously because I knew I wanted to be social and community, I'd be like, that'd be me fighting against whoever's writing that. And I don't think that's a fight I want to go for, like going into that job being like, I don't like how you wrote
Yeah.
that.
No, that's a
Yeah.
fair point. Starting off like with fighting,
Yeah.
fighting boots on.
Yeah. But like, so why do you want to apply here? Because you wrote this certain tweet, and I want to change this behavior. Don't think that's what would get me the job.
I feel like that's definitely something that, like, from a more senior person or somebody with more experience and confidence, like, that's totally something and like a
Yeah.
valid thing to do and to like point out and like correct. But like, I totally get it. Like, from like the
Like,
outside, like coming in and trying to make your
yeah.
start, like, it's very intimidating to like
Yeah.
come in and try to rock the whole boat. Like, somebody's got to do it, but you also have to look out for yourself.
Yeah. Like first job, like especially in games, and like people talk like games, as big as games world is very small as well.
It is. Yeah.
And being like minorities, and like being like non-binary, and being like black, and being disabled, like having all those for me, and having to be someone where I know I'll be safe, I'll be like, you gotta fight, you gotta be able to win those battles.
Mm-hmm.
So But I know that where I am now, like I know that my manager and my boss would also fight those battles. And I
That's good.
think people need to know that when applying for jobs, they have that support level. Because if you're applying for somewhere, you know that the company doesn't hold the same values as you,
Mm-hmm.
then you're going to struggle along the lines and you're not going to be happy somewhere. And like 5, 6 months down the line, you're going to be like, I think I need to apply for a new job.
Yeah, and that's not a good feeling.
Yeah. And like, you want to be someone where, you can be yourself, be comfortable, and like be ready. Like, not saying that you have to stay in a job forever. Like,
No.
moving's natural, but, you know, yeah. And on that note,
Yes.
what advice would you give to others looking to get into games?
So we've kind of been talking about like the whole networking aspect and like
Yeah.
finding a community, and like it doesn't have to be in person, but like, if you can find like a Discord server, like friends, even like Twitter, um, like just some kind of like support network that can either push your name in front of people or push job applications your way to try to help you, because it's a really difficult thing to try to break into, to find that right spot, to find that right role, like um, especially if you don't have formal like video game training and things like that or experience. So finding people to like fight for you like
Yeah.
is really really important. If it's Limit Break, if it's women making games, or um, like any of these other groups that are cropping up, that I probably don't know about because I've like thankfully not
Yeah.
had to look.
Yeah.
Blessedly. And yeah, just like trusting your instincts, like if someplace looks too good to be true, or you haven't really heard a lot about them, like do the sleuthing, like ask the questions, like do your research. Because there are some horror stories out there, and you do have to protect yourself. Um, and just generally, like in terms of like the applications, like I mentioned, like even if you don't match all of the requirements, experience, like you know put your application in anyway. What's it gonna hurt? Like,
Yeah.
um,
The
it's
worst I
it's
can
that
say is
thing.
no.
Yeah, and there's gonna be no's, unfortunately. Like, um, as with anything, like you kind of just have to roll with it, and try not to take it personally. And I was putting applications in and like repeating applications to different companies, like when different roles would come up, and I was a bit fearless with it. I was just throwing them all out there, and like I said, it's probably for the best that they didn't say yes. um, but generally, like, um, something that I was sort of falling into the trap of when I was starting out was like trying to keep up with like all of these really big new releases, and when I didn't have a job lined up, like those things are really expensive. So like there shouldn't be a pressure on people, like unless you're like a games journalist where it actually matters. Like, you know, only buy a game and play it if you really want to. Like not just because everybody else is doing it. There's a few that I've fallen for, because like the marketing was really cool or something, and or I heard everybody else talking about it, so I bought it, I played it one day, and then I just never played it again, and I've like sunk 60-80 bucks into it or something. Like it's kind
Yeah.
of heartbreaking, and I keep saying like I'll go back to it, but like when am I? And like just generally having, like, you don't have to, video games also don't have to be your entire life. Like sometimes there just aren't enough hours in the day. I have so many games I wish I could play, um but it's also really good to like switch off from it and like read books and go out for walks and, I don't know, play board games, like go analog and give your eyes a rest. um but
Definitely.
it's all like really valid stuff, and it's all really interesting things to talk about, like when you do get that chance for the interview and making connections with people. Because it's video games, of course you're going to play video games, but like what else like makes you different, and what do you enjoy really, um to try to make an impression. Like having medieval history on my CV, that's always come up in interviews. They're like, that's so interesting. Tell me more about this. And I'm like, well, I don't know really what to tell you. Like, it's very relevant to my job. No, it's not. Like, it was just something I really enjoyed doing, and I'm really interested in. So, luckily I had the luxury that I was able to study that. But, it's all part of the process of getting me to where I was, where I was going. So no regrets.
Yeah. My current interest is K-pop.
Fun.
Right. My I, I cannot stop talking about it.
Is that
And
the lovely? How do you do it? That thing?
yeah. But my
Little
mine
finger
looks weird,
heart.
so it looks like a night tick. Because I've got long fingers.
Oh, I feel
um
like such an old person. Like, is this what the kids are doing?
this is it. This is it. But yeah, I love K-pop.
Rad.
I'm not gonna go into this topic because I have got so much I could go on. Anyway, okay. So think about childhood you, which
Yeah.
um could be good, could be bad. What advice would you give?
Well, I mean, firstly, like, stay nerdy. Like, that's like probably the thing that's gotten me furthest. Really, was just being a major little nerd. Like, it's none of that time is wasted. Like, all of the different things that I did growing up, like games I played and stories I wrote, and like classes I went to, like it all, like I said, like it was all leading up to this. So just like being proud of the accomplishments, like even if they're not major or even if they're not relevant, say, to like what your career winds up being or what your life ends up like, it's all going somewhere.
Amazing. I want to like reclaim the term nerdy because so many people use it like such a negative connotation. I'm
Yeah,
like, no, being a nerd is cool.
it
Like,
is.
I love it. I love science, apart from biology. Biology's stupid.
Ooh, shots fired.
Anyone who knows me knows that I think
Yeah.
that.
I love like astrology,
Yeah.
or is that one? No, astronomy. I love both of them.
Yeah. I'm a physics geek, so I love physics. That's what I do at uni. Well, I did all three sciences.
Cool.
But I specialize in physics and I love it so much. Anyway, it's not about me. I think one advice I always give myself is try not to act too cool, because there's definitely times that I try to act cool
Mm,
because to fit in, because I didn't know how best to be.
yeah.
So I gave up a lot of myself in order to fit in, which led to a whole spiral.
Yeah.
Whole spiral that could have led to me being who I am today a lot sooner. But I don't regret it because look who I am now. An
Totally.
amazing person. So
Absolutely.
um yeah.
There's probably my only regret is that phase that I wasn't a goth. That was probably
Oh,
the weirdest point in my life where I was like trying to like wear like boat shoes or something and like khaki blazers, and I don't even know, like
oh,
it was bad. But I was also
oh.
living in Phoenix, Arizona, where like it's super hot, so wearing the dark clothes
Yeah.
was like killing me.
Yeah.
But that wasn't me. Like, I snapped back really hard.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of a phase that I regret. Oh, I don't know.
That's probably a good thing though.
Yeah. I don't think I block out there a lot of things that I don't like. If I don't like
Same.
something, I block it out.
I don't remember
So
that.
yeah, I'm
Yeah,
like, did I do that? No. Did we
wasn't me.
meet? No. Sorry, I don't know
Selective
you.
memory.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I do that a lot.
Yeah.
I'm like, sorry, no, don't do that. Not me. Sorry. Okay, so I'm trying to think. There was another question I had in my head, but then I started thinking of my past,
Oh dear.
which is just troublesome. Okay, so I've got something in my eye. That was not what I was going to ask you. Hi, can you tell me what's in my eyeball?
Guesses
Okay,
eyelash.
Oh, could be. Okay, so in 5 years' time, how would you like to see the game industry?
Oh man, that's a
Yeah,
good question.
yeah.
Okay, it's 2023. 5 years from now, I want Elder Scrolls 6. um, but no, for real. I would really like more managers who are women or gender nonconforming, more seniors, um, more remote working. There's so many opportunities that are unlocked when you have a more, um, people from further afield than just one local space. Um, and I think also more people from outside of video games coming in. Like, I think it's just like a good sort of injection of new experience and talent and perspectives. Because I think that in games, as with like anything, you can get tunnel vision. You can just be like, these are our problems. This is our world. This is how we do things. But when you get people from outside coming in, they can do that. They can shake up the boat. They can reinvigorate things. And I'm not just saying that because I came from outside of games, but I think it's a really valuable talent pool to be tapping into to keep us like
Yeah,
vibrant and also like adaptable to things, because the games are going to get more competitive, like in terms of like, I don't know, like the offerings from like indies, and things like that. Like, so giving yourself the best sort of talent to work with, and um, I think that that's really going to be really important. While at the same time, like something I haven't mentioned yet is just like the the focus on coming away from the crunch sort of ethos, where you have like work is life. Like
mm-hmm.
it's not, like life is life and work is work.
Yeah,
um and like I love my job, but I also love my life outside of it and the things that I get to do. Um, Partially because I have a really great job, and really enjoy it. So that's a benefit. Like, not like hating going to work and then doing anything I can to forget my work problems.
yeah,
Like, um, if we had a space where people are um, able to do their best work and come back fresh like every day, like that'd be really really cool. Like, I know there's some experiments around the 4-day work week, like maybe that works some places. Like, that's really dope. Why not try things? And especially like the more diverse the businesses become, the more kind of options you're gonna have to like explore and embrace. And there's so much room to like grow and do better for everybody. And I think hopefully we're on heading towards the right track with that. Because 5 years
yeah.
isn't a long time.
Right. I think I'm hoping that. See, I take it back to like me going back to like my education roots, like working in schools, and
Mm-hmm.
I want them to realize that like more students realize that game, because I think if more students realize that game working in games is a viable way, the more students get told about it, the more that like the student, because I think if students get told, then it gets passed on to the generation above, and then that generation can then disperse into games, and then that's how we get that diverse network. Do you see what I mean? So like,
Yeah.
it people are like, oh, like, oh, my child came home to hearing about like games is fine. Oh, this is fine. Or maybe I can switch into it. Like, people don't realize that like we still need finance in games. We still need
Yeah.
like law
Massively.
lawyers in games. We still need HR in games. Like, people don't realize like making games isn't just someone sat at a computer doing coding, doing QA, doing design work, doing, I've forgotten loads of disciplines, art. Like, there's all those other aspects that people don't realize that
Mm-hmm.
you can still work in games. Games is so vast,
It is.
and like we still need so many people to work with us. And like knowing that it's not just like, do you think we actually wish we could sit at a computer all day and play games? Like everyone wishes for that dream, but no one can do that. Not even content creators.
Mm-hmm.
Like content creators has so much work to do.
Yeah, all the admin.
Yeah, like there's no one stays at home all day and plays games. Like
No.
I think the more people become aware of how much work people put into stuff, the more normalized it is. And I think as well the game industry, I think having it more accessible as well, like
Mm-hmm.
especially with remote work. And then remote work means that people who have more disabilities are able to then have it more accessible for them to make it more there's a word I'm thinking of, but it's not coming to my head.
Inclusive or no?
Yeah, inclusive, but sort of like more. So when they're able to work, it's more easier for them at home, if that makes sense,
Yeah.
compared to being at an office.
Yeah.
And if someone knows what I'm talking about, that'd be great if you could tell me. Because I know sometimes it's hard to be like sat like in meetings all the time and like you focus, and or if like I get tired very easily. So if I was in an office, like someone would be like, you just like, why do you not have the same levels throughout the day? And I'm like, it's like it's not the same. Like
Yeah.
whereas if I'm at home, I can like rest a bit longer and then like change my work hours. Whereas if it's different,
Mm-hmm.
so I think having that whole accessibility for remote work so much better. What else? And then last thing that I want to see in the game industry is I want a Beyonce driven game.
Whoa.
See, it's not hard.
So
Like
like Beyonce, like instead of producing a new album, like releasing a new album, Beyonce's releasing a video game.
yeah.
Fascinating.
And if Beyonce happens to do that in the next 5 years, I call rights.
Dibs.
Yes.
That wasn't my dibs. That was your dibs. You were the dibber.
No, it's okay. We can share it.
Amazing.
Could you imagine
Oh,
we just get rich off that?
Ooh, that's fun.
Right?
That's fun to think about. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that comes to the end of the podcast. So thank you so much for being part of it.
Absolutely. I appreciate you having me. It's been lovely.
Oh, thank you. Thank you all for listening. We'll see you all next time. I am trash at doing outros. So that is all you're getting. And thank you.
What are you talking